So the first video cut off when I was graphing a line. But if you look here, so I graphed the line. I went up 0, down 5, right 4, up 5, left 4 by going the opposite. I kind of cheated a little bit. I knew what the answers were, so I put them in yellow to make sure I was good to go. All right, I'm going to graph the circle. So if I graph the circle, I know there's an imaginary center at 0, 0. And I need to go the square root of 41. Well, the square root of 41 isn't perfect. It's in between square root of 36 and square root of 49. This is 6, 7. So it looks about 6.4. Okay, just show me that 6.4 somewhere on the test so I know you didn't just fake it. So I'm going to go right 6.4, up 6.4, left 6.4, and down 6.4. And then I'm going to draw the circle. I guess I'm doing this in blue. And then you're going to show, oh my gosh, it's a miracle. That's where they cross at 4, -5, -4, 5. So you're showing algebraically and graphically that the answers are exactly the same. Okay. All right, let's start the second page now. So solve the system of equations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, plug it in for y, or vice versa. So I'll do this here. I get 2x minus 7 equals 2x squared minus 16x plus 33. An important thing for me is that my squared is positive. It is. So I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to move this over here all in one step. That's gone. Zero's on the left. 2x squared minus 18x plus 40. Divide everything by 2. I end up with x squared minus 9x plus 20. Two numbers that multiply to get 9 and add to 20 are 5 and 4. So now I know that if I set that equal to 0, one of my x's is 4, comma, and one of my x's is 5, comma. Now I'm going to take this 5, or this 4, plug it in there, show my work. 2 times 4 minus 7. 2 times 4 is 8, minus 7 is 1. Do the same thing for the 5. 2 times 5 is 10, minus 7 is 3. Now, if I wanted to double triple, I can make sure that I'm good to go. If I plug in 4, 4 squared is 16, times 2 is 32. 16 times 4 is 64. 32 minus 64 is -32, plus 33 is 1, so that one's right. 5 squared is 25, times 2 is 50. 16 times 5 is 80. 50 minus 80 is -30, plus 33 is 3. So I know that I'm good to go. All right, so 6 down and 7 right. But down is with the y, so I mess with you, and right is with the x. But remember, it's not a straight shooter when it's in parentheses, so do the opposite. But the radius is not affected, so there's the answer. Show me that work, and you're good to go. All right, let's start factoring some advanced polynomials. So I noticed that 9 goes into 72 8 times. And then when I look here, let me zoom that in a little bit so you can see it a little bit more. What times what times what is x to the 6th, and that's x squared. What times what is 8, and that's 2. So now I get x squared minus 2. Now I'm going to square the first guy, square the last guy, take the 2, put them together. Since this is minus, this is plus plus. Now, big thing, don't forget to bring down the 9. Okay, and then I need to write f of x equals. I'm going to be mean. If you don't put that, it will be wrong. So make sure the question matches the answer. Let's go to the next one. Okay, my issue is the b, and my issue is that the a squared doesn't look like a squared. So what I'm going to do now is pretend this is a squared minus 7a minus 18. Two numbers that multiply to get 18 and add to 7 are 9. Oops, sorry, it's an a, or 9 and 2. But now I can be a little bit more fancy. The way to get a to the 4th is a squared. The b is in front, so it stays in front. And then the same game happens here. And you're good to go. If you have time and you're done with the test and you want to make sure you're good to go, box it out and make sure that when you box this out, you get that. Okay. Let's go to the next one. So I notice they all have a 3. I also notice they all have an x. So I'm going to take out an x. How many am I going to take out? Okay. Oh, and by the way, these two have a y, but that doesn't have a y, so you can't take it out. So I look and each of them have 2. So now I'm left with x 2 to the n because I had 4. I took out 2. I have 2 left. 6 divided by 2 is 2. I'm sorry, 6 divided by 3 is 2. I had 3. I took out 2. I have 1 left. Y. Sorry, I'm kind of out of space here. And then 3 divided by 3 is 1. I'm not going to put the 1. I don't feel like it. And then I'm going to rewrite this smaller because I ran out of space. I purposely didn't give you much space because I didn't want to waste as much paper. So I'm going to cross that off. And then we had 2. We took out 2. We got none left, plus y squared. So now this is good to go. Now I need to look here. My issue is the n, and my issue is the y. So this is really x squared minus 2x plus 1, which is x minus 1, x minus 1, which is x minus 1, oops, I'm sorry, which is x minus 1 squared. But here's the deal. The x had the n, so that gets the n. The y wasn't on the front end, it was on the back end, so it's right here. So I'll rewrite that a little nicer. X to the n minus y squared, and then don't forget to bring down the 3x to the 2n, and don't forget to write f of x. Okay? I'm going to highlight this because I'm going to have to do this on the separate piece of paper because I used the space. Okay? All right, let's go to this one. This one is this one, but just less work. So what times what is x squared? What times what is 1? X squared minus 1. Square this guy. Square this guy. Take them, put them together. Since this is minus, this is plus plus. Now, the only problem is that this one, you can keep going. Square root, x minus 1, x plus 1, x to the 4th, plus x squared, plus 1. Oops, f of x equals. Oh, you can't see that. Don't forget the f of x equals. If that's how the problem is written, that's how the answer should be. Okay. My issue is the 8. Pretend it's squared. Two numbers that multiply to get 4 and add to 3 are 4 and 1. But the problem is it's not x to the x squared, it's x to the 8th, so that's a 4. Okay. I can't square root this because that's a plus, so that one stays. But I can square root this. If I square root this, this is x squared minus 1, x squared plus 1. But then I can square root this again. So this is x minus 1, x plus 1, bring down the x squared plus 1, and bring down the x to the 4th, and throw in an f of x in front. Here's my answer. Okay. All right, this last problem on here, I notice they're both even, so I take out a 2. And I see what times what is, I can't take the square root because I can't take the square root of 27, so difference of cubes. I have to know that I'm going to keep going because it's not called advanced polynomials, so you take out a 2. Right? So what times what is x to the 6th? What times what is 27? Bring down the 2 so I don't forget. Square the first guy. Square the last guy. Take these two, put them together. Since this is minus, this is plus. Okay. All right, represent each polynomial in at least 3 different ways. So here's one way. Another way is I can box it out. Actually, I won't even do that. I think what I'm going to do is do this way. Take out a 5. Take out a 5. Another way I can do it is I can go 5 times 5, which is 25. Another way I can do it is 25 times x minus 4 squared. Another way I could do is, look here, I can go 5 times x minus 4 parentheses squared. And like I said originally, I can box it out. I get 25x squared minus 100 minus 200x plus 400. I think that covers it. That's good enough. Now we're going to do the same thing, but backwards. So I notice they all are divisible by 4, so I can take that out. I can box this out, which means I can write it as 4x plus 4 squared. Okay. Now what this is, this 4 really is like 2 squared x plus 4 squared, which means I could write it as 2x plus 4 squared. Okay. I could also write it as 2x plus 4, 2x plus 4. Okay. Now, if I were you, I would give me more than 3. As long as I can find 3, then I'm happy. So if you gave me 6 and only 3 of them are right, you'll get full credit. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, given this, I have to actually simplify. So this says minus, so I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to go 9x squared minus 1 minus 6x squared plus 2. Remember, when I subtract, I change the signs of everything to the right. So when I simplify this, I get 3x squared minus 3. You're not factoring, you're simplifying. Okay. Now they want me to take g and divide it by f. Okay, so I can box the top, take out a 2, be left with 3x plus 1. I can square root the bottom, 3x minus 1, 3x plus 1. Oh my gosh, they have something the same. It's going to happen when you divide, okay? But by, the answer is 2 over 3x minus 1. Don't give me the parentheses. You only need parentheses when there's something else there that's being multiplied to it. Okay. This is saying take g and put it back in for g. So I'm taking this, but then putting it back in for x. So I'm going to go 6 times 6x plus 2 plus 2. So in other words, this g went right in for x. Now I distribute 36x plus 12 plus 2, 36x plus 14. Okay. This time, for the next one, they're saying take negative 5, put it in for g. So I'm going to go 6 times negative 5 plus 2. Negative 30 plus 2 is negative 28. Now, I'm going to take that answer and put that back into g. So now I'm going to take negative 28 and plug that in. So I'm going to go 6 times negative 28 plus 2. Negative 168 plus 2. Hopefully I multiplied that right. Use your calculator. Don't be like me and do it in your head. Make sure you're good to go. Okay. All right. This one and this one are very similar, but this time I'm taking negative 1 and putting it in for f. So I'm going to go 9 times negative 1 squared. When you square anything, it turns positive. 9 minus 1 is 8. Now I'm going to take this 8, and that goes in back in for f. That answer is going to be a little bigger. So I'm going to go 9 times 8 squared minus 1. 9 times 64 minus 1. I'm just going to use my calculator. I got nothing to prove. Let's see, 64 times 9, 576. Let me check that 6 times 28 real quick. Okay. Wait, what? 6 times 28. All right, we were, oh, yep, 168. All right. 64 times 9, 576, minus 1 is 575. Okay. All right. Last one on the page. Create a system. There are two numbers, such the sum of their squares is, I don't know, I think that says 42. We'll just pretend. And the difference of their squares is 36. All I'm going to ask you to do is set it up. I do not want you to solve it, and you do not get bonus for solving it.